Right, let's move on to some other big issues. Of course, one of those this week has been the reignition of the industrial relations war across workplaces in this country. This morning, the Minister for Employment and Workplace Relations, Tony Burke, introduced the government's, and these are Orwellian names, they're calling it the Secure Jobs Better Pay Bill, into the parliament, aimed to modernise, he says, industrial relations and get wages moving. But what caught my eye was the bill includes banning the CFMEU from engaging in multi-employer bargaining. Joining me now, Master Builders Association Australia CEO, Danita Warne, knows a little bit about the CFMEU. Danita, give us a sense of what this bill, as drafted, introduced into the House today, will do to your industry, building and construction.
Well, it's going to be a dramatic change to the industry and the economy as a whole. Bizarrely enough, we've been at the forefront, unfortunately, of patent-style agreements with the CFMEU over a long period of time. And the bill that was introduced today really enables that across multiple industries, and with, of course, the added benefit of strikes as well. So we see this as a return to the 1970s of a total lack of appreciation on the importance of productivity growth in businesses, and of course a return to centralised wage fixing in effect. What has not been appreciated by this bill today has been the significant increase of the role of the Commission in enterprise and their management of their employees and the relationships with employees, which is an absolute anathema to what we've achieved in industrial relations over the last 30 years or so.
This exclusion of the CFMEU, is this a SOP because I think the cut through now is there in the community that scrapping the ABCC, the construction watchdog, is a dangerous move and that they need to look like at least they're doing something to tackle CFMEU lawlessness?
Yes, you're right. We've called it a sleight of hand. It's to look as though something is going to be done around the ongoing unlawful action of the CFMEU. It's far from it. It only relates to one stream of enterprise bargaining. There will be another two streams that still enables the CFMEU to be involved in bargaining. And it's also got a time frame on it of 18 months. And so, of course, the bill also abolishes the ABCC. So if there's no regulator to pull up the unlawful action of a union, then of course it's going to be very easy to run down that clock. So we say it's a sleight of hand. It is looking to do something, but in fact it's not going to do anything because we assume that union will still use the general enterprise agreement making provisions until such time as that 18 months has gone through. So it's not going to help our industry. And we know we need more productivity growth, but we also know through our research that we'll have significant productivity losses. And that's the bizarre thing about this title of the bill. This is not going to result in secure pay or secure job. It's going to result in the long term with job losses simply because there's going to be no productivity in the economy.
I have to get your take on the most militant area of the CFMEU. That's the area led by John Setka in Victoria. Of course, the Andrews government up for re-election next month. They say, the government, that it's not preferencing the CFMEU on many of the state's multi-billion-dollar civil projects after the Treasurer Tim Pallas was a guest of honour at a recent private lunch organised by the CFMEU. Now, in return, the union seems pretty fulsome in their support of Daniel Andrews. Ignore that flyer up the top. I think that's just there as a bit of theatre. But this has gone out to CFMEU members. It's on building sites. It's encouraging workers to back in the bloke that's basically giving them all this taxpayer funding. How concerning is the relationship between Andrews and the CFMEU in Victoria?
Well, it's obviously a concern where one industrial party has undue influence over a decision maker as a client. We don't just see that in Victoria, we see that in other jurisdictions as well, where there is effectively veto rights on procurement practices. That means favoured contractors get the job. Because they have that close relationship with the CFMEU. So we, of course, are concerned about that. We've said that in the past. And we continue to say that, particularly when the new Albanese government has said that they'll introduce similar style of arrangements for federal procurement as well. So that's something to look forward to next year. And as we deal with this first tranche of omnibus industrial relations legislation that provides an opportunity for the unions to get far more of a stranglehold on the way business is run in this country, which will be to the detriment of the economy. There's no doubt about that.
There's no doubt about that. This is not the safe change that people thought they were voting for. Danita Warren, I have to leave it there. We'll speak again soon.